Yo, what is going on, boys? Sekapoko here, bringing you another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. For this, of course, we'll be going over the amazing Sugofest we have right here. That's going to be coming out on the global version for One Piece Treasure Cruise, dropping on March 6th all the way through March 10th. Now, we'll be going over what I think about the Sugofest, what's going on the Sugofest, and exactly what you should be looking for. So, without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Alright, so let's go over the overview of the new Sugofest coming out to global. Now, this Sugofest, to me, initially just sounds like a straight up bait Sugo. It doesn't seem like it's a trap, it just seems like, hey, you should pull. It's cool. Like, that's just how it feels to me. It's not like an actual Sugofest that I feel like, oh, it's going to be amazing. A lot of you guys experienced the 3-year anniversary and you felt the pull rates. You guys want to have your own experiences. Some were good, some were negative. Who knows what you guys had? But let's go over the Sugofest details and talk about them a little bit. So the Sugofest, again, is going to be a 2-part Sugofest. Now, on the middle of the screen, you'll see the 6+ characters that are boosted on part 1, and above my head here on the right hand side of the screen, you'll see the characters that are boosted on part 2. Now, these units are going to be every unit you'll be pulling for in this Sugofest is going to be a guaranteed 4-star or better, and will join your crew at max level. That means that if they are the unevolved version, they're gonna start out at level 50 or level 70, depending on what they would need to evolve. And if they're the 5-star version, they will max out at level 99, which is really great. And if you do pull a 6+ character, those 6+ characters will also join your crew at level 99, so you won't actually have to level them up, which is really, really great. The Super Evolved Sugofest characters will be useful for the next treasure mode and getting a large amount of treasure points. Now, I don't know what that means, but first let's talk about the one that happened on the Japanese version, and then you guys can make your own inferences on what you think is going to happen. So on the initial treasure mode for the Japanese version, pretty much every unit was boosted by 1.1, and there were some units that were boosted by 1.2. I think Lucy was the only one boosted by 1.2, and then there was the treasure mode Zoro, which was boosted by 1.25, and finally the treasure mode Buggy, which was boosted by 1.5. Now, what I mean by all that is that that's how many the multiplier would be for the amount of points that you would get. So if you had a lot of 1.1 boosters, it would be 1.1 times 1.1 times 1.1 times 1.1 times 1.1 times 1.1. And that would be your entire team of boosted units. You have a 1.5 boost, a 1.25 boost, and a 1.2 boost. Of course, that's going to be a little bit higher. And then you couple that with another 1.2 boost for your friend captain. Lucy would be the characters with a 1.2, the Zoro with a 1.25, and the Buggy with a 1.5. Multiply all those together, and then you use the last 2 units would be a 1.1 boost and another 1.1 boost. You would get your full team of boosted units. And that's how you would get all the units that you need for the treasure mode to get your 1,000,000 points. Overall, it made it a very difficult thing to get everything done in treasure mode, so it actually took me about 13 to 16 hours with a fully boosted, max boosted team with the highest boosted and fastest team that you could possibly use in the treasure mode. And I had the full boosted teams for every single mini boss, so I was able to get maximum amount of points for every single thing I was doing, and it took me somewhere between 13 to 16 hours to get everything done for the 1,000,000 points to get the treasure mode unit. So what's different here is that I don't think there was any 6+ units that were boosted on the treasure map. There might have been 1 or 2, but nothing like that. I don't think there was definitely not 10 6+ units that were boosted on the treasure map. There was also every single Kai raid was boosted on the treasure map for the 1.1 boosts. There's a lot of other units that were boosted as well, some Coliseum characters and such. But without going into that in too much detail, let's talk a little bit more about the Sugofest and talk about what's going on with that and exactly where you're going to get all your good characters. Part 1 of the Sugofest, on the 3rd and 6th multi-pull, you're going to have a guaranteed 6+ character, which is going to be either the Gear 4, God Usopp, 6+ Ace, 6+ Sabo, or 6+ Rayleigh. All of those would be an amazing character to have, except for, of course, Sabo if you did pick him on your free pull. Now, the Usopp is kind of good. The Rayleigh, really, you almost never use him. I have seen people use him, but you almost never use him. And G4 kind of has fallen off on the Japanese version. He's almost never used. The reason I can say that is because whenever I try to make a fighter team, I actually have to ask people to physically put up G4 for me because I don't have anybody that's actually using G4. Ace is almost never used on the Japanese version because shooters are just a kind of a meme at this point. They're totally dead. Usopp is used for Cavendish and some other things that you can use him for, which is really interesting. You can actually use the 6+ Usopp to get yourself a delayed boost with Raizo for conditional boosting on characters that you couldn't actually get conditional on, which is really interesting. So he's one of the few characters that allows you to get that delay off on your teams, which is very, very, very cool. I definitely like that. But I haven't seen a lot of people do that. The thing is with the 6+ characters on the 9th pool is that you actually get them at max special, but there's going to be a much smaller pool. It's only going to be the Ace, the G4, and Sabo, which is actually a pretty decent small pool for getting a chance of getting G4. But of course he does fall off later on, and Sabo and Ace are not really as used as much. Sabo is still a good character, Ace is still a decent character, but I'm not really a fan of the 6+. His 2x boost is great, and Wave Clear is kind of cool, but overall I'm not really a fan. On part 2, of course, we're going to have Kuzan, Lucci, 6+ Boa, 6+ Shanks, and 6+ Whitebeard. Now, all of these are really good, except for Boa and Shanks, which are almost never used. Whitebeard is still used to this day because of his HP cut and his Orb Manipulate, which is really nice. But most of these characters are going to be good for a while. The thing with Whitebeard is that he's been good since release, and will probably stay good since release because he's an HP cut based character. Now there's a lot of other characters like Garp that actually supersede him, and they have an HP cut plus defense reduction and another additional mechanics like knocking characters out based on low HP, so that's pretty cool. There is a power creep on some of these 6+ characters that's going to come in the future, but it still makes these characters will still be usable. 6+ Lucci is still a great captain. Kuzan is still useful in the Japanese version. I still use him to this day. Unfortunately, he does not have a limit break yet, and the Whitebeard and Lucci do get a limit break, so those are nice to have for limit breaking characters. The Boa just got a limit break as well. Ace, I don't believe has a limit break. Usopp has a limit break. It's pretty crap, so don't worry about it. G4 does not have a limit break. Sabo just got a limit break, and I don't know if Ridley has a limit break. Actually, who cares about Ridley though? But the Sabo limit break is actually pretty good. He makes 8 orbs beneficial for free spirit characters and has a nice stat increase as well. So overall, a lot of these characters are very good in the future, but not like optimal units that you're going to bring all the time. It's not like a V2 Lucci or a 6-4 Judge or Lucy or something that you're going to use consistently in the future. Now, since this is going to be an all-gold Sugo, now you do have a good chance of getting the Boa Marigold and Boa Sandersonia on part 1 of the Sugofest, as well as getting Daruma, which is also a very good unit for your V2 Lucci teams, or your V1 Lucci teams, depending on the content. And he's a great unit because he removes paralysis and gives a type boost, which is really nice for certain content. Then there's also the time skip Straw Hats, which are available here. TS Nami and TS Chopper are the only ones that are still used to this day. Not so much not the rest of them. Most of them not used as much. I just used TS Sanji the other day, so that was nice. But he's more of a speed farming character, and he is kind of nice for the damage reduction on a very short cooldown in certain forests. On part 2 of the Sugofest for the rated up goals, we're gonna have Barto, the new Barto and the new Cavendish. Then there's gonna be Strength Gecko Moria, Mr. Zero. There's also going to be Dex Lucci and Kuma. There's also going to be Elizabeth, Perona, Heracles, and Duval, Quick Rayleigh, Mansherry, and Ivankov. Now, this day is actually pretty decent for the golds. What's really good on this day, if you don't have them, is the Quick Barto, the Dex Cavendish. Gecko Mori is okay. Like I have found use for that character in certain content, but not too much. Mr. Zero, not really used too often. He's really good for a special rewind, but other than that, not so much. And Dex Lucci. Now, one of the coolest pairings in the game, by the way, for a very long time, is going to be the new Dex Lucci and the Dex Cavendish together. Now, if you did not know, the Dex Lucci is going to be an HP cutter as well as defense reducer and 1.75 orb booster, universal orb booster. And the Dex Cavendish, of course, switches block orbs into matching orbs and locks orbs for 1 turn. In addition to that, will be a 1.75 defense down booster. Since the Lucci does defense down, he procs the Cavendish special, which allows you to use it in tandem, get a double 1.75 boost that's not related to type or class, which is really cool. And that allows you to use them on Neptune teams to get a double 1.75 boost, so you can actually clear content without actually having a type boost, which is really, really fun. I do like that a lot. Now, the only thing you would need after that would be Orb Manipulate, which can be done with a myriad of different characters, depending on what you want to do. Then, of course, there's Dex Elizabeth, which is really good for Inarashi Coliseum, which is really annoying because you have to use a 100% defense reducer, and there's so few of them in the game. And of course, Manchiri, always a very useful character with really, really great utility. And Ivankov, also an amazing character. I still don't have Ivankov. That would be really nice to get. The last character I think is any kind of use here is going to be the Quick Rally, which is useful on Lucy teams for getting a full board of orbs, because you get a full board of Quick Orbs, which is considered matching on Lucy teams. Overall, that's actually very, very useful for just that team. There aren't a lot of other teams that's useful on. Maybe on a V2 Dofumi, but of course Rayleigh is not driven, so you can't use them on that team. So I don't think there's a ton of other teams this can be useful for, but it is really useful on the Raizo Coliseum to get a full board of matching orbs because of your inability to use certain other characters. The rest of these are not super useful. They do have some use, but definitely not super useful. Overall, for the Sugofest, I am not the biggest fan of the Sugofest, but if you guys are really, really looking forward to pull on the Sugofest, or you're thinking that you really want to get some of these units, I'm not going to say it's a really terrible Sugo. It doesn't look like it's bad. It definitely looks like it's a bait Sugo, though. It's like, hey, pull on the Sugofest. There's going to be useful units in the next treasure map. You should totally get these units. They're amazing. Oh my god. To be honest, like I've seen better. It could be better. No matter what 6+ you're gonna get, they're older characters that are then made new again because of their increased abilities. Out of all of these, the best two 6+s by far are the Kuzan 6+ and the Lucci 6+, which is the biggest upgrades for the units, and definitely provide a lot of greatness for those two units. So if you're gonna pull on any part 2 I think is a little bit better than part 1, unless you really need the Boa Sisters, and then you can really try to pull for both Boa Sisters on part 1. In my personal recommendation, I'm not really thinking that you should pull the Sugofest, because there still could be another adventure mode Sugofest coming out with point boosters, which are not yet available in the Sugofest. So if you guys are a free-to-play player, this is probably a decent Sugofest to pull on, but you guys are probably spent out from the anniversary that just happened, so I don't think you guys have any gems anyways. Overall, if you guys are whaling on Sugofest, this is probably not a Sugofest to whale on. Overall, it's okay. Just like if you really want that 6+, I guess, but overall, nah. Alright guys, well that's going to do it for my overview of this new 6+ Super Evolution Sugofest coming out on the global version. My name is Sekapoko. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did enjoy the video, make sure you smack the like button down below, as well as the subscribe button down below, so we get lots of support in the channel, and of course, keep the channel growing. If you guys do want notifications on all my videos, make sure you smack the bell notification right next to it so you get notifications every time I drop a video. Have a great rest of the day, guys. Peace.